Rory Mcilroy has compared the difficulty in brokering a deal between the PGA Tour and Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund to the Good Friday Agreement. The County Down golf star has long been one of the most vocal critics of the Saudi-sponsored Live Golf Tour, insisting in July last year that he would rather retire than play in the breakaway league. He stood down from the PGA Policy Board late last year after he admitted he felt like a sacrificial lamb when a shock treaty and potential merger between Live's Saudi backers and the PGA Tour and DP World Tour was announced in June. But he has since softened his stance on the influx of money from the Sovereign States Public Investment Fund, PIF. Mcilroy had recently been hopeful that he could play a part in speeding up a deal between the PGA Tour, DP World Tour and the PIF, seeing it as a means of uniting the rival factions and ending the divisive and ongoing civil war in men's professional golf. But yesterday he admitted his efforts to rejoin the PGA Tour's policy board have failed for now due in part to opposition from a subset of people and the reopening of old wounds and scar tissue. Board member Webb Simpson was happy to cede his place to Mcilroy, but the world number 2 explained ahead of the Wells Fargo Championship that is not possible right now due to complications, and he'd continue working to reunify the game from outside the fold. The four-time major champion stepped off the board last November, stating that the direction of travel was not what I signed up for following last June's surprise merger announcement. He's had differences of opinion with board members such as Patrick Cantlay and Jordan Spieth about welcoming back Live Golf players and the need to do a deal with the PIF even with $1.5 billion in capital from the Strategic Sports Group. The Hollywood player wants to see the creation of some kind of world tour with at least 12 events outside the US but admits a compromise might be tough for both sides to swallow. "Yeah, there's been a lot of conversations," Mcilroy said at Quail Hollow. "Sort of reminded me partly why I didn't. So yeah, I think it got pretty complicated and pretty messy, and I think with the way it happened, I think it opened up some old wounds and scar tissue from things that have happened before. I think there was a subset of people on the board that were maybe uncomfortable with me coming back on for some reason. I think the best course of action is if, there's some people on there that aren't comfortable with me coming back on, then I think Webb just stays on and sees out his term, and I think he's gotten to a place where he's comfortable with doing that, and I just sort of keep doing what I'm doing. I put my hand up to help and I wouldn't say it was rejected, it was a complicated process to get through to put me back on there. So that's all fine, no hard feelings, and we'll all move on."